They're still the 5 seed. They can't catch the Eagles. And I think that the Cowboys, Chris, you talked about the desperation the Seahawks are going to be feeling tonight.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are going to be feeling pedal to the metal because they play tonight, and then they get to sit back and watch the Eagles potentially lose to the 49ers, narrowing the gap to the point where the Cowboys could catch them next Sunday night on NBC and Peacock. Philadelphia at Dallas.
Yeah.
That lines up perfectly. Cowboy win tonight. Eagles lost Sunday. Next Thursday night, must-see TV on NBC when the Eagles visit the Cowboys. And look, I don't need to say that to hype the game up. I don't need to say that to get my paycheck. It's the truth.
Yeah, it is. It is the truth. They're a highly motivated football team. I don't think there's any question about that. They haven't hid that. I mean, they want to be the kings of the NFC. They realize that the 49ers and Eagles got their number, right? They got a lot of things on their football team that are awesome. The one thing they haven't been able to match up with is the size of those two teams. That's really been the problem with them. Their defensive line versus the size of that Eagles O-line and 49ers O-line has been a problem. Shouldn't be a problem tonight. And Dallas, like you said, I mean, leading the league, right, in overall net points, right? They're third in overall net touchdowns, so they're up there with the elite in a lot of categories, offensively and defensively. They're a awesome football team. It's just how awesome is the question. A little bit like we talked about with Seattle, right? Dallas really doesn't have a marquee, whoa, they beat that team and type of win the whole year. They don't have one of them, right? So that's the other thing too. We know Dallas is good. I'm not doubting that. But it's just how good. That's what I'm not quite sure about. It was an underwhelming performance, we know, against the San Francisco 49ers earlier in the year. The Eagles game, hey, they did a lot of things and maybe outplayed the Eagles in a lot of ways. But as we know, it's you might outplay the Eagles, but you're not going to outscore them and win the game. They're phenomenal that way. And in the big moments, just like we saw last week, the Eagles won the big moments against the Dallas Cowboys. So I think it's fair, too, to see where they're at as far as what we're talking about. And you're right. I think there is a little bit of desperation from Dallas because of the pressure the owner has on them, the leadership they have on their team with Michael Parsons and Dak Prescott. They openly talk about how they want to be the best and be in the Super Bowl and get there. And tonight is the first step into them kind of showing us all what they got and seeing if they can't start tip the scales their way in as far as the Eagles matchup coming in 2 weeks.
None of the teams the Cowboys have beaten this year currently have a winning record. And when you look at that schedule, the Cowboys ultimately may rue the day that they lost to the Cardinals back in week 3, 28-16, one of only 2 wins on the season by Arizona, and the only loss that doesn't fit this profile. They should have beaten the Cardinals. They didn't. They have lost to the 49ers handily, and then, as you said, they outplayed but did not outscore the Philadelphia Eagles. If the Cowboys don't have the number 1 seed, they can only blame themselves for as great as they've been. And that's the thing. You can be a team that has the potential to be dominant, but you can't slip up, because if you slip up, you don't get to bring your opponents in the postseason to the place where you are the most capable of being dominant.
Definitely.
And for them, home field advantage means everything. And they may have to hit the road. They may have to start in Atlanta or New Orleans and do it the hard way and only get a home game if the 6th seed or the 7th seed start pulling some upsets.
Right.
And they'd be hosting the championship game if they even get there. And we know they haven't been there since 1995. So that's what's got to be just so frustrating. You build an elite team, but, man, your margin for error is still so thin to set the table to have a favorable scenario to get yourself to where you're trying to go.
Yeah, it's they're in a juggernaut as far as they got 2 teams in front of them in the NFC that are damn special. And we know the AFC's got a lot of good teams, but I'm not sure any team in the AFC is well orchestrated as the 49ers and the Eagles. So, yeah, they got to deal with that. They do. And to your point, too, with how important this is, and you've already alluded this to a degree, And we know this, and, you brought up Jason Garrett saying it before. The biggest thing about them is the surface they play on. And that's where it stinks if you're one of the lower seeds behind Philadelphia or the 49ers. Because then that game goes to the grass field. The grass field slows down Dallas. The grass field favors the bigger team usually. That's the 49ers and the Eagles. And that's why Dallas has issues with them. And that's why, to your point, the home field advantage is so important, because once you get inside on that carpet, their speed goes to another degree. It's like kind of like back in the old days where, you wanted to play the Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning and Dwight Freeney and all those fast dudes, Bob Sanders, and you want to play them on grass, because if you went to the RCA Dome and you had to play on the artificial turf or the field turf, like, get the hell out of here. They were so fast. It was like, is there 20 of them out here? Holy crap, there's like 20 Tasmanian Devils. And that's kind of the way Dallas is, and that's where, this home stretch here and some of these teams they got to play here down the stretch, we're going to get a real good feel for how exactly good Dallas is, and can they overcome, things like we talk about, playing on a grass field, weather, stuff like that.
It's an amazing dichotomy. The players, anyone you talk to, and recently Javon Holland, the Dolphins safety, told me in detail, and I asked him, explain the difference, how your body feels the day after playing on grass versus the day after playing on turf. And it was very good. The story's at PFT, if you want to see it. The video's out there as well. But some teams,
are better on
Cowboys,
that surface.
With an owner who refuses to put grass in his stadium unless that's what it takes to host the World Cup final, that's hey, it's good for certain teams, even though the individual players would just as soon be able to get out of bed the next morning without a bunch of aches and pains from their joints just throbbing from all the force going straight back up into their body, because there's no give on that thing that allows them collectively to be faster. It's another reason why the owners who have turf, who have a team built for turf, they're never going to switch voluntarily. It's cheaper, and it allows me to build a team that has an advantage when I'm playing at home, and the Cowboys definitely do, and we'll see it tonight. Seahawks, Cowboys. I agree with you. This is one that stood out all year.
That's right.
It stinks that the Seahawks have tailed off, but still, like you said, they're desperate. There's an extra element to it. It's post-Thanksgiving, and we're getting toward the point of the schedule where you take whatever you can get, because before too long, we're all going to be seeing, where's our Thursday night football?
Yeah.
So enjoy whatever there is that Amazon and the NFL are offering.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, the Seahawks got to hang on here. They lost both times to the Rams. The Rams are only a half game back. They're out of the playoffs. They lose tonight, and the Rams win this weekend. Green Bay's breathing down their neck now. They've come back to the pack. This is a big football game. And Mike, to your point too with the grass and the turf thing, because I know we got to go to a break here at some moment, right? But I know that's going to be an excuse a little bit, like what you're talking about, the surface. My team is, conducive to the field, the AstroTurf and the artificial stuff, all that way, right? Where that's kind of a cop out, right? I played on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were that type of team. They won a Super Bowl, fast defense, smaller team, right? You're in a place like Dallas, they can make that grass like it's an artificial surface, like it's a golf course where it'll play so fast. So, I don't want to hear some of this bull crap excuses from these owners when the time comes with that type of subject there. They can make it plenty. Hey, the Dolphins, look at what they're doing. Are they kind of fast team? They're kind of fast, right? I mean, only the fastest team we've seen in the last 20 years, right? They're great.
And it does look like they're playing on a green.
Exactly.
It looks like they're playing on a golf green.
So places like Dallas, Miami, Tampa, whatever, as long as you're not having a concert 7 days a week there, you can make that grass as fast as hell, every bit as fast as the artificial stuff.
And just to prove that line item where you've got the tray that slides out so you can keep the grass pristine while you have all of your concerts, your boxing matches, WrestleMania, whatever else it is that you want to put in that stadium to make your money. We're not saying that you shouldn't be able to make money using the stadium, but what we're saying is you should have spent the money necessary to have the best possible surface for your players in whom you've made a major investment. And I'm still waiting for one current player to say, I prefer playing on artificial surfaces than playing on grass.
Nobody.
I have yet to find one current player that will say it, and I keep looking. All you got to do, and anybody that feels that way, they got Twitter accounts. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, you know what? I do prefer playing on turf to grass. No one said it, and I don't think anyone ever will. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.